going into the anime season, this particular anime was quite hype, but for what reason? Well, that reason being that the character designs were quite unique. Hello everyone, I'm Joe and you're welcome to another edition of Newin Anime Review. This episode, Dagashi Kashi. Dagashi Kashi is set in a quiet rural village where the occupants spend their time just chilling around, finding some fun things to do. The story is about Hotaru, who works as a snacks company recruit, trying to convince the owner of a local Dagashi shop to be an employer. However, Yoshikata, who is the owner of the shop, won't simply agree to Hotaru's term, unless she is able to convince his son, Kokonotsu, to take up reins as the head of the shop. But Kokonotsu has no intention of becoming the next head, as he has his own dream, and so begins the wonderful attempts and stories on how Hotaru tries to convince Kokonotsu to take over the shop through Dagashi. The way the story is presented, it's all sketch based, so even though there's an overarching story, you hardly see it progress. There's not really a lot of progression at all. It's all about the characters eating Dagashi in different ways, and if you don't know what Dagashi is, it's basically Japanese sweets, and that is all there's really to talk about the story. What I find annoying about the show is that how at times I feel like it was progressing, especially the few times they showed the backstories and having characters ponder about the future, but in the end, none of that really ever comes into play. Most of them just feel like they don't mean anything, and from there, the story gets kind of stale. The characters are probably the best part of the show, not for the development, but just for the fact they are fun characters to like. Kokonotsu Shikata is the main protagonist, and he's set up to becoming the successor of the Dagashi shop. However, he dreams to be a manga artist. Of course, his dad and Hotaru want him to be the next owner of the store. Even though he has no intention of becoming the next store owner, he is somewhat a control freak, as he will always criticize on how his dad runs the store. And that would paid up the fact that he has really decent Dagashi knowledge, so him becoming the next owner is not just for the sake of Hotaru, but he has the ability and potential to become one as well. The only development we really get from him is at the very end, when he questions on whether he wants to pursue his dreams or accept his fate and take over the Dagashi shop. However, outside of that, I wouldn't say he really gets really interesting. Hotaru Shidare is one of the main girls of the show. She is a very weird character, a very eccentric individual having a completely profound love for Dagashi. Literally, all she ever eats is Dagashi, and she lives on Dagashi. She is very knowledgeable when it comes to Dagashi, and hence uses her knowledge to test Kokonotsu on his knowledge, and the two usually end up butting heads with each other, or on even grounds with their knowledge. Throughout the show, she doesn't really show any signs of change, as if anything involving her, it's all about Dagashi. We never really learn much about her backstories or motives. Saya Endo is one of Kokonotsu's childhood friends, bearing a crush on him as well. She is the kind of character to have around as a more straight level-headed character. Basically, she is a way for the characters who know a lot about Dagashi to explain how to eat Dagashi. Saya is not really enthusiastic about Dagashi in general, but she does bear a hidden talent for playing different types of games. She probably shows the most character development. Toho Endo and Yoshikata are other supporting characters that are kind of just around to provide more comedy to the table. What I like about the characters is their interaction with each other. The characters have a good chemistry with each other, and they complement each other's unique personalities as well. What somewhat made this anime pretty hype was the character designs of Hotaru and I think Saya. Hotaru is kind of out there, with her most distinguished feature being her big eyes, which, to be honest, looks like a Rinnegan, and Saya being sort of the opposite of her in almost every way, as she has the tiniest eyes and also personality as well. The background and scenery is rather basic, as there is not really a lot much going on over in the quiet town. What they do pretty well is get the Dagashi designs right, as when they show it at the end of the episode, it looks very accurate. There are some nice subtle animation during the times when they start eating Dagashi. I really like that all the characters have unique designs as well, very noticeable at the same time. For a slice of life show though, not a lot happens, so you wouldn't get really much complex animation. What I can say about the OST is that it's really bouncy. Like, the music suits the comedy genre, and although it doesn't add too much to the scenes, it is somewhat enjoyable to listen to. You get some classical fancy triumph music in there as well. The opening is pretty catchy and has a nice rhythm to it until it gets to its chorus, which I don't like that much at all. The AD is sung by Hotaru Seiyu. It is nice, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It sounds simple and kind of annoying. I really appreciate that this show tried to do something different, making a show about Japanese sweets. But the way they execute it can get a little bit boring. For the first few episodes when they eat Dagashi, and they are explaining the creative different ways to eat it, it can be entertaining. But over time, that gets really repetitive and stale. Same with the comedy, the jokes just get old. But what I do like about the show is the characters, the interactions with each other, the conversations with each other, it just fits very well. The different personalities just collide very well. And to be honest, I like the part where they didn't eat Dagashi and they were just more explaining it, but more the parts that they didn't eat it and they were doing something else. Because the parts when they were eating Dagashi, it just got really repetitive. But also the fact, I don't know what Dagashi is. And if you don't know what Dagashi is, you can not really care at all what are they eating. What Dagashi is Japanese sweets. And you don't know if it's good or not, so you wouldn't really care too much. Basically the show is just product placement. As we draw closer to the end of the review, I give the story a 6. Because it doesn't really go anywhere, and when there are times when I thought it would progress, it doesn't. And it's not much of a great story overall, but I do like the different sketches they can come up with, and I appreciate the fact that they are trying to do something unique. For the animation and sound, I give it a 6. The animation is not bad, it does good things here and there, but it doesn't blow me away. The art style is pretty good and unique though. I like how the characters have very unique designs and make it very noticeable. The OST fits the comedy genre very well, but the OP and D is rather skippable. For the characters, I give them a 7. Even though there is not really much development by any of the characters, I love the interactions and the banter between the characters, despite the contradicting personalities. They all have very good chemistry with each other. As for my own personal enjoyment, I give it a 7. Yes, the first few episodes were enjoyable, but the format got old and boring. And the fact that I don't have a great knowledge and sense of Dagashi, I couldn't really care too much about what they were trying to promote. Basically, it was product placement. So for the overall score, after rounding all up, I give Dagashi Kashi a 6.5 out of 10. If you don't get bored and you mind the repetitiveness, it is an enjoyable show. I recommend this show to slice of life fans and those with the knowledge of Dagashi, as this is mostly likely aimed towards you. If you want to watch Dagashi, you can watch it on Funimation, but if you are Australian like myself, you can watch it on Anime Lab. Well, that's it for this edition of Newin Anime Review. Like always, if you want to read the written review, link is down below in the description straight to my anime list. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. If I'm bothered, go watch another video. With that all said and done, I guess to get a different opinion on the show, I gotta find myself some Dagashi to eat, but I don't really know where to get myself one other than Japan. Oh well, sayonara!